Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? I was caught off guard for a second. I'm like, wait, is this thing on? How are y'all? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. Whoa, okay, there we go. Let me know if you can hear me. It's so great. It's great to see everybody. The screen just disappeared. There you are. Okay. What a morning. What a morning. We just had the moon. The moon is in Leo right now. It conjuncted, I think it's still conjuncting Mars. All right, great. How are y'all doing? I missed y'all. How are y'all doing? Thanks so much for being here. I just got back from vacation. I don't know if I'm tan, but it is the reason why I'm wearing a sweatshirt. My hair is not done. But you know what's really funny? Every time I go on these live streams, I get so excited. I don't even know. I put on cologne. I do all of that. It's the weirdest thing, like eye cream. And anyway, I hope y'all are well. It is so great to see you and happy June. Welcome to June. June 1st, we're here. We made it. We made it to June. And so what an exciting, your forecasts are out. I hope you saw it. June is just bonkers. I cannot wait. And today, even, we have that triple conjunction with Venus, Aries, and Chiron. That's going to be, is anybody feeling that? I talked about it in my last Lights of the June astrology overview. Wow. It's talk about we're really ripping off the Band-Aid for, old wounds with Venus, Chiron, Aries. Very interesting because it's also trining Mars, right? So, and then remember, Mars is with the moon and conjunct in Leo. There's so much happening in June. I mean, I could talk to you for an hour on just what's happening just today. It's so interesting. But yeah, I think that the timing is really interesting too, because coming after those 6 months of 2025, a lot of people, we're all ready to get going. We're all right. We're like, no more being held back. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. Let's get going. So very interesting. And I'm sure that a lot of y'all are seeing, we had that Mercury Cazimi a few days ago. That was really strong. Who had really powerful conversations? Who got big messages? Who gave big messages? That was a big one. That's a lot of right place, right time. Everything just works in your favor. It's really, really nice. And then with Jupiter just at that 29-degree point in Gemini, we're talkative, we're chatty. But there's just today alone, we have a fire trine. Yeah, we have a grand trine, right? We got Mars in Leo again. It just there's so much happening. And then when we get to the full moon, same thing. There's so much happening. And I wish there's just every day there's something happening. But I hope that you're really tapping into that spiritual warrior energy with Saturn and Neptune and Aries at that early degree, that that leadership, that pioneering energy. A lot of y'all are discovering your superpower, right? It's coming back. You're like, yep, I'm good at this. I'm going to own it, right? Or your new superpower. This is fresh new energy, but either way, you're stepping into your power. So it's really, really exciting. All right. And it's almost like, it's such independent energy, all this, Saturn and Neptune and Aries. It's almost like someone leaving the band, right? Someone leaving the band to go solo, do their solo album. They get their own spotlight, So it's a great time because there is a lot happening where in June, and I talked about this, a lot of you are just going to feel that you got your power back. And a lot of y'all are understanding your time isn't over. It was never over, right? Think of any comeback in actors or movies or shows or bands that go on tour after 20 years, or artists or writers, all of that. So really, really exciting energy that I hope you're feeling. And with the moon in Leo today, yeah, really feel that inner child. Just have some fun. A lot of creative energy. Remember, Mars is also gaining speed. So when Mars is conjuncting the moon, I think, what time is it? 12 o'clock. You're still feeling it. You're still feeling it. Mars is just gaining a lot of speed. And then remember, in a few days from now, Mars is going to sextile Mercury with Venus sextiling Jupiter. It's just such a, what is going, it's just so much is happening. So much is happening. So have your moments, and you're going to feel that fuel in terms of forward momentum in ways that you just, this year you didn't feel it. And I'm not saying nothing happened for anybody like in the first 6 months. It was just like, there was some delays and a lot of sensitive energy. Okay. But your things were still happening, but now it's all systems go. Okay. Remember, even a few days from now, what is it? Thursday, right? June 5th. Venus is moving into Taurus, where she's dignified. And that's just so absolutely amazing. Okay. Absolutely amazing. Because Venus is leaving Aries, which isn't bad. It's still great. People, it's considered detriment, right? So, or even exile. But even still, we had Venus and Aries and Pisces for so long. So just Venus moving into Taurus, so grounded. Okay. And just to give you a heads up, remember when Uranus is going to move into Gemini in July? Woo! I think it's July 7th. I got to check the dates, but hey, it's going to be at the same time Venus is moving to Gemini. I mean, that's just a whole other thing. So it's just like one thing after the other. There's so much happening now. Oh my goodness. Venus and Jupiter are definitely going to be really, really strong this month. Really, the two benefic planets, really, really, really strong. And with Chiron so active, right? Even when we get to June 10th is when, Mars trying Chiron's with Eris, Mars' sister. I think that perfects. That's June 10th, right? I gotta check. I got in yesterday, so that's why. Anyway, a lot of y'all are becoming healers too, with all this Chiron energy. Go deep, go hard. Jupiter's protected. Oh, when Jupiter moves into Cancer, oh, you're gonna have so much protection. All right, so much protection. So really great to see everybody. I'm just gonna give a few more minutes. Oh, well, it's 12:10. Okay, so you're seeing my Jupiter and Gemini gonna come out a lot today. The other thing is, yeah, y'all heard about the geomagnetic activity, the solar storm. Who heard about that? Let me know if you heard about that. I talk about the solar flares and the CMEs, the coronal mass ejections. So we pretty much have like G4 solar activity. It was an M class flare, and the X class is the highest, right? M would be in the middle, but it was a high M class, basically right there as an X class. Like it just feels like it because it was heading toward Earth. Remember, some of these flares, they're going other directions. This one's headed toward Earth, and it's already happening. So you're already feeling it, okay? And you're going to feel a little bit more throughout the day. All right? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I think I said last year plasma. That's plasma, right? And I think I said last year plasma is going to be a key word for 2025. And well, yeah. So what does this mean biophysically, though? Remember, we all have biofields, right? And the Earth has an electromagnetic field. So we're connected. We're connected. We're all connected. This part of our awakening, part of the ascension. So spiritually, it just has a enormous impact on us. Okay. I've talked about the moon, how the moon, right? It reflects the light from the sun, and the moon affects our ocean tides for a reason. It locks in our oceans. It's there for a reason. Yeah. and how we're made of 60% water. So we know the moon affects us emotionally. Water is emotions, right? And so the sun does too. The sun affects us too, our cells, our DNA. I've talked about this and past forecasts, and I'll spend more time and I'll do predictions. I'm gonna get in the habit of timestamp. Remember, I'm a one-man team. I don't have like a moderator or anything, but I'll do that. Well, I'm gonna do some predictions, okay, in a bit, and then go over some that have already happened, okay. But just with the solar flares, when we have, when we talk about even like the Schumann's resonance, which has been off the charts the past few days, that's Earth's heartbeat, okay. So that affects us. Don't fear it. Don't fear it. Any of these storms, don't fear it, okay. This is part of our evolution. And some of y'all may feel really tired. Some of y'all may stay hydrated, please. Some of y'all may be, it may impact your circadian rhythm, may not be getting sleep. The higher your frequency, obviously that's going to impact you. But embrace it. Do some grounding. We're talking about Earth, right? Mother Nature. So go out there, do some grounding, spend time in nature, have your moments, go hug a tree, go touch a tree, put your feet in sand or grass. And yes, these flares can have impact on, communication and power grids and whatnot. So keep that in mind. And I'll let you know some other things that are happening. But yeah, I did. It's so great to see you. Who are all these new faces? Who are y'all? I love y'all. Thanks so much for y'all are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, and the auroras, you're going to be seeing the auroras. Yeah. So that's that, right? Because it's okay. So we've talked about this. So I got back from my trip. I took a week off and I feel refreshed. I don't know if I look tan. I don't know, maybe not. I got a big sunburn though, which was amazing because it just felt like a little mark from the sun. Felt really nice. But I did go to a wedding and that was really exciting. So I reunited with a lot of friends. Now, what was really interesting, and I think I left this in the community post. I'm going through my Jupiter return. And so if y'all don't know what that is when Jupiter, is conjuncting your natal Jupiter in your birth chart. You get that once every 12 years. And I didn't realize, I knew I was going through it, but I just been so busy. I didn't really, it was until like I was starting to pack for the trip. I just like looked at, charts and stuff. And it was happening at the time, literally the perfection, the exactly at that new moon. And I want to know what y'all have done. I've been reading your comments too. I'm so happy for so many of y'all. Oh my goodness. Everything that's been happening in your lives. I'm so happy. And I'm obviously I want the best for you. So everyone that's been getting new jobs and starting your own businesses, and this is that Gemini energy too, right? And so in general, but it affects every sign differently. New relationships, getting married, moving, doing all that. Y'all, I love that. So I hope that you planted seeds. And I do want to hear your story about what y'all planted. And remember, it's a cycle. So it's kicking something off for the next 6 months, and you're still under that window. Okay. And you can still, and I say that every day. You got to do it every day. You want to put your energy out there every day. You want to set intentions every day. You want to manifest every day your energy, right? So just know it's a 6-month cycle. You can even consider it up to a year. Yeah, until the next new moon. And Gemini, but just see things unfold for you throughout this month, throughout the next 2 months. It's going to be nice. And then, we have that amazing new moon this month as well. So I was going through my Jupiter return, and this is just such a crazy story, and I can't make this up. And this is just, and I meant to say something, and I was a lot of things I put in my Instagram stories just because I don't want to take up your YouTube feed with all these posts. But I was that night, I was on the hotel balcony, just giving blessings, to the universe. It was my Jupiter return. It was the new moon. I was just like putting all my energy out there, and I was just having, sending my gratitude for the universe, for all the blessings that had come into my life. And I can't make this up. And you can even Google what happened. But there was a thunderstorm, and there was all this lightning. If you're following my Instagram, you probably saw it in the stories. I took a little video of all the lightning flashes, and it was consistent, and it was happening at that moment. Okay. Now, why is this a big deal? Because I was going through my Jupiter return, right? And it was the new moon in Gemini, Jupiter's in Gemini. I'm a Gemini rising, but that doesn't matter. I was going through my Jupiter return, Jupiter on top of Jupiter. And then there was all this lightning. And Jupiter, I always say, is Jove, because Jupiter is Jove, but Jupiter, is the king of the gods. In Greek, Jupiter is Zeus. Jupiter is Zeus, god of lightning and thunder. Okay. In Roman, Jupiter. In Greek, Zeus. In Hindu, Indra, thunder and lightning, ruler of heaven. So I took that as the biggest sign. I couldn't believe that was happening. And I just saw that as the biggest sign. And like, when you vibrate at this high frequency, which I always encourage you to do, you see those little winks from the universe. Okay. And it was really funny because it made New York Times, the storm that was going through Texas, because I was in Austin for that. But yeah, my flight was delayed the next day. It was fine though. It was only like an hour or whatever. But anyway, that's why Jupiter rules the ninth house. The ninth house is the house of the gods, right? And so it just brought so much clarity, a lot more clarity for me when you have those moments with the universe. And I want you to do this. That's why I say go talk to the moon. Go, put your energy out into the ether. Okay. In my natal chart, I have my sun. I'm in Aquarius, right? I have my sun and Venus. They're conjuncting my midheaven in my ninth house. And so, and I'm not saying like I'm, a god or whatever, but this is just what I've done my entire life. And remember, the ninth house is higher mind, it's wisdom, it's the most spiritual house, like culture, intellectual exploration, all of that. But even just me being an Aquarius rules like astrology and space and even metaphysical things. But anyway, it's just ancient wisdom, okay? Imparting that ancient wisdom. And so sharing it, that wisdom and that knowledge and the big picture, and having that deep understanding of the universe is something that you would crave when you have that in your ninth house. I don't know. It was just really, really, really nice. It was so wonderful being with my family. I love my parents, and I think a lot of y'all know that. So it was just, a week of just so much blessings for me. And it was just all this appreciation and gratitude that I had this week. And remember that everything just have those moments, okay? Always turn anything, even if you're feeling that, you're in a place where it's like, oh, what is going on? Have those moments, and they will come. All right. So, and everything is divine timing. I want you to know that too. All right. Everything is divine timing, and everything is cyclical. And I did mention that. I think I mention that every time I speak to y'all. So you're going to see gifts. Remember, there's so many aspects, so many transits in June where a lot of planets will be bearing gifts. So please just have those moments. And we are in so many cycles right now, right? Remember, even Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Jupiter's going to be moving into Cancer soon. And remember, even that new moon in Gemini, that's a new cycle. North Node in Pisces, that's a new cycle. And then even Saturn and Neptune and Jupiter, all at that 0-1 degree point. Yeah, you're going to be feeling this. You're going to be feeling this as we move forward. So I want you to really take that time this, even today's a great day. But this week, take that time, ask yourself, what is the big picture? For me, what's my big picture, right? What is my life purpose? You're going to have a lot of great moments, and that helps move you in that direction of something that you can look forward to receiving. Okay. And even the full moon in Sagittarius that's going to happen 10 days from now. Yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one. So you're going to feel a lot more explorative. Yeah. A lot more explorative. That's such a big, and I wish I had more time to talk about it in your monthly forecast. We've got a mutable grand cross. That's a big full moon. It's a big one it's with the nodes, the north node, south node. So I want y'all to really just feel inspired. Oh yeah, Michelle, yeah, I would. So yeah, I want to talk about that. My interview with Inspired Evolution, but we'll talk about that in a second. But I want to do these predictions. I definitely want to like put that out there, and I'll put the timestamps. But remember, another thing, just to let you know, remember we will have that square. The square's coming up soon, right? Around June 8th. You'll feel that. This little speed bump. The big one would be Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune, June 15th. Okay, so that's big. And I'll talk about more in your weekly forecast. Remember, I'm skipping this week for your weekly forecast because I took a week off and but I got your June forecast out there. So I'll be going to the week after, but we'll be talking about Jupiter square Saturn and Neptune. It's big. It's big. Okay. Remember, it's happening the same day that Mars is going to square Uranus, right? So it's a big time and you're going to feel it. But it's remember what I said from the beginning was just Saturn and Aries. Just practice that patience. You'll be fine. Okay. Because if you feel those moments of like things are not happening for me or things are moving really slow or all of that, remember what I just said, practice patience, but divine timing. Yeah. So you can, and if it helps inspire you, all those famous actors and writers and, all those writers who went through all the, dozens of rejections, hundreds of rejections, actors who went through hundreds of rejections. And look at where they're now. Pierce Brown is a good one. I don't know if y'all read Pierce Brown. He has a great backstory. He's an Aquarius too. He has a great backstory. He was rejected. 125 agents. 125 agents. And now, I mean, come on. He's got a trilogy. He's written 6 books. They're all New York Times bestsellers. He opted his screenplay for his first book. Got $1 million for that. And it's just like, what is it called? The studio bought the screenplay. They didn't even turn it into a movie. He got $1 million for that. So for so long, right? So long, but everything is divine timing. And that's even for me personally, I think a lot of y'all know that I've finished this young adult novel that I've been writing. And it's been 10 years in the works, 10 years in the works. And I remember the first few years I was a little like, what? Because I wasn't getting the response that I wanted. But then someone came in. It was this former editor at Random House who worked with me. That became my agent. And then I'm not going to get into the story, but it's been 10 years. And then I started working with a pretty big agent after. And so the point of my story is that it's been 10 years and I thought it was going to happen sooner. I wanted it to happen sooner, but then I realized, it's divine timing. It's going to happen when it happens. Right. And so that you can apply that to any like relationships, whatever you're working on, creative projects, work, everything is divine timing. Everything's going to happen for you. And that's why I've come to realize, even like I remember when the agent was pushing my book out there the first time. This was about 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And I remember telling him, I'm not sure if it's quite ready, but he's like, no, it's perfect. And had it been published, I would have been so embarrassed because there were so many things that I wanted to fix. Even though in the moment, like, it's perfect. After taking 2-3 months off and then going back to look at it, it's like, oh, wait, no, it's actually not done. So that's the universe telling me, not yet, not yet. It will, so, and it's young adult. It's everything that it's just, and I'm really excited because what I'm doing is I'm introducing astrology, tarot, ancient philosophers, wisdom, energy, frequency, all of that in this very fun way for, when I don't know, when we were in school, we didn't learn any of this, the important things, right? We didn't learn any of this. So it's really exciting. And so I'm just still working on the last edits. Anyway, okay, so and that's a lot because of, I see some of your comments, and yeah, so I just want you to know everything is going to happen for you. But remember, it starts with that self-belief. Okay, it starts with that self-belief. Now, do you want to do some anybody have any questions? And that's the other thing, if you have questions, let me know. Put some questions in the comments. Tell me what you started with your new moon. Yes, yeah, y'all know, y'all know Pierce Brown. All right, so here's the thing. I am going to and let me know if you have any questions about the first, week, first 10 days of June as well, because I know there is a lot happening. And I keep looking over at my whiteboard because it's still up there. I'm like, whoa, that's not even half of what's happening. So you can feel free to ask me questions. Okay. Now, oh yeah, inspired evolution. Let's talk about that for a second. I hope you saw that. Do y'all have that? I put in the link. I put the link. Y'all, I was so honored. That was so amazing. So I'm really excited to, oh my gosh. I hope you saw that because it gives you a little bit more insight into some things about 2025 that I talk about, as well as a little bit more about my background. Okay. And it was such an interesting, I'm sure if you saw it, you saw that it happened at night, like on my end, right? But he's so amazing. And I just so much gratitude for him and for the work that he does. What's really interesting, we filmed that back in April. It was like the last week of April. And I had, ever since I started the bonus spreads this year in January for the tier 3 members, really good and legendary members, I've been doing 24 readings a week, right? And some, the bonus spreads, they weren't meant to go some of it like 20 minutes or longer. And I think a lot of people forget, I get new subscribers, so I have a full-time job. And so and I'm not complaining because remember, I love doing this. I get excited when I get to, do your forecasts and do your readings. And anyway, I all year have been working 80 hours a week. And then it'd be a good week if it was like 60 hours. And the day that I did that interview, I had worked 9 hours, and then I did, like 3 forecasts, but then like 3 more for the bonus. So I had worked about 12 hours that day. And so at the end of the day, I was just like, whoa, I don't even remember half the things that I said, but it was really fun. And I think that I needed this trip this last week because I needed that reset, a refresh, but it also brought some clarity in terms of something that I've been sitting on. And again, a lot of y'all are going through this. But I'm just at that point where I'm teetering on, this, I have to make this big decision, where like I said, I have a full-time job, and I do love my full-time job. But it's like one or the other. I have to make that decision. And so that's what I've just been going through for the past month. Anyway, Let's do some forecasts. Let's do some forecasts. If anyone has any questions about that video, and watch it. It's I talk about some stuff. All right. So okay, so let me just see, because I gotta see. Okay. Oh, perfect. Right at the 30-minute mark. That's an easy timestamp. Okay. Now, so y'all, I got some things to say. I've got some things to say now with the forecast or the predictions. I think that there's a lot of things I already did put in my Instagram story, because the last time that I did forecasts or predictions was, 2 weeks ago or a month ago. But there's a lot of things that happened that I just put in my Instagram story. Again, I just don't want to take up all your feeds, and maybe I'll just do more of these live streams. So things that have happened, like, you'll just, know. And remember, it's all to expand your consciousness, right? So the first thing I want to say is that one thing that I talked about in the interview I did with Amrit for Inspired Evolution, and I've said this many times, is coyote, right? Coyote kept coming up, and coyote can represent deception, and we've talked about this, all right? Sneaky energy. But coyote is also representative, in Native American culture of, the creation myth. And so this year is all about that. But when you've got Saturn and Neptune in Aries, so I'm going to do a Saturn and Neptune video for you for all 12 signs, but it's going to be more than that. Remember, it's Saturn and Neptune. That's going to be, a sextile Uranus, trining Pluto. So I'm going to give you that full story, because I think that's what matters for the next 2 years for you, for your sign. Okay. So I'll work on that this week. But one thing that, if there's one big takeaway, okay, is yes, there's going to be some world leaders that say things, and I just want you to trust your intuition. That's all. Okay. When you throw in the things, let's just bring in the coyote, right? And then when you bring in Saturn and Neptune in Aries, I've talked about this. It can be those higher frequencies or those lower frequencies of those delusional leaders or deceitful leaders. When you trust your intuition, you know what to believe. Okay. So keep that in mind. I feel like that might be the biggest takeaway. There's going to be some things that you hear this month. You've got to ask yourself, is this real? Is this real? To trust your intuition. And of course, I'll walk you through some things too. All right. We have come to a point where there is this convergence points with a lot of that happening. You're just going to see a lot of it in June. And then remember, there's a lot of AI that's getting stronger. So you gotta, and you can even see some videos like, is this actually right? So and I think that's one of the reasons we are going to have this great reset, because it's going to get to a point where you have no idea what to believe anymore. And so there's going to be this reset, okay? Because people need to remember the truth. All right. There's going to be a point where people have forgotten the truth, because there's so much out there that's manipulating. And it's even like bots are on the rampant, things like that. Yeah. I think that, I don't know if you remember this, and I may be getting this wrong. I don't know if it was a congressman, or it was a congressperson, or it was someone who was up there who was caught last year, like on Twitter. He has his account, but then he posted something from his account accidentally, and it was like, I'm a young Black man, I voted for Obama, I see nothing happening, or something like that. But he meant to do it from his fake account. And there's a lot. So that's just showing you that don't believe everything at first. Okay. Okay. And yeah, there's still a lot of things. I think that when we get to a point where what's happening astrologically is really helping you to become more of, that self-sufficiency, not relying on others. Remember that independent, that fierce independent energy that even just Saturn is bringing in Aries, right? The I am, yeah, leadership, all of that. So it's going to get to a point where, yes, you may want to put a lot more energy into that, because you're going to start seeing that you can't rely on bigger, what you have relied on. Right? And I think I brought up DNA. I brought up the DNA stuff, right? Okay. Yeah. And here's the other thing. The moon does affect our subconscious as well, our emotions and subconscious. Now, I think that I mentioned this before. I'm going to get in the habit of saying this more in your forecast if it comes up in your readings or for your sign. But just remember that up here, it's 90% subconscious, and we're working with 10% conscious. So remember, we want to expand our conscious a little bit more. And all that subconscious, there's so much room to work with that, because the subconscious is where we store memories from the past, things that may have hurt us in the past, things that we believed in the past. And so it's unrooting a lot of that to be more aware, right? With that conscious part of our brain, just up here in the heart, always heart-based living. Now, okay. One thing that did happen that I talked about was the health of a world leader that everyone knows. Okay. And so we all know that who that is, who was diagnosed with cancer. I think it was May 16th, May 18th. And I did say that in Amrit's thing, and that came out May 27th. So it was on time, but I made that prediction. Well, I made it last year, but then I brought it up again in March to make sure that was when I was like, okay, this is going to happen pretty soon. And April, actually, I brought it in April, but I do that. I'll repeat things because I know that I throw a lot out there. And so I said that was going to be a thing. So we now see that. But remember that I did say that let's pay attention to, it's going to be world leaders that we're going to see some health moments and some moments. Remember, it was plural that I said. All right. And then I broke it down. So we know that, the Pope passed, and there's, and again, this is just a like, remember, I told you, you're going to see new leaders. You're going to see new leaders, but you're going to see a lot of these older, leaders. Just so we're moving into a new direction. What else happened was there's still one more leader. I am not sure if it is going to be public facing. I'll let you know. I'll do another channeling session, but I'm not so sure it's going to be public facing. But just know there's still one more to come. In terms of health. Now, I also mentioned the missiles. Oh, you know what? I did that on his channel. I got my book. I need a new one. So we were going through the predictions that I had. So this was late April. Remember that. So these predictions are for April 19th and April 22nd. And then I did another channeling session. I remember I go in these like deep trances when I do it. So it's not like I have to like be prepared, and I have to because it can be exhausting, right? When you're spending. Okay. Anyway, one thing that I talked about that I didn't get to do a live stream with y'all with is that there was those missiles that I saw. Oh my gosh, where is it? Okay, so here it is, the last page. Okay, so this was May 20th, as you can see. May 20th. Okay. And so you see there's a lot here. But again, we can go back. Remember, I brought it up in April, and then so we know about what's happening in the Middle East. And then I talked about this too. And I posted this on my Instagram story because I was just like, I don't want to like I don't want to do a post on this, but I just put in my story. What's really interesting is this came up. So this is the channeling session on May 20th. And so I posted this page. I just took a photo of the page right here. And this came up too. This is insane. Okay, because you see it's 1967, because I get dates a lot. You see 1967 came up, March 1967, and then a couple other numbers here. Oh, can you see that? So remember, sometimes when dates come up or coordinates or things like that, I just have to Google it. I don't know. So this was the year of when they had the nuclear treaty thing. It was this. So there was sometimes like these are just like when these come through for me, I'm just like when I Google it and see exactly how it matches up, I'm like, that's bonkers. Yes. I wanted to show you something. Yeah, and you'll see I even wrote down here. There's gonna be, you're gonna see more activity there. I did talk about the tsunami. And then there's gonna be some activity in Italy, okay? And that's one that I didn't, announce yet. This is something that I talked about, or I posted on my live stream. So the day after I did the channeling session, there was the tornado going through Chattanooga. I was just remember I saw the direction, and Tennessee, there was Tennessee. And then you see down here just missile. And so that's still over that. And then that goes into the Iraq stuff. And that was announced the next day. So there is still flooding. Okay. That's going to be a big one. Remember, with the tsunami, as well as the western coast. I just say California coast. I still see some energy there, vibrations there, and Alaska. Okay. I talk about Juneau a lot, but I'm talking about the whole, there's Alaska's coming up. Okay. So it's just that coastline. And again, this is just to put this in your consciousness. And I've been saying this for months too. So this isn't, but when it comes up again, it's just kind of like even a reminder for me. There's a lot of stuff here. And when I said Asia, there's still a lot of Asia activity. Okay. I talked about the earthquakes, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Indonesia. There's just going to be some activity up there. I can't read my handwriting. I think that's Myanmar. So just keep that in mind, that there's Earth is changing too. Yeah. Earth is changing too. Oh, I thought this was really funny. Um, I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but Amrit for Inspired Evolution. Remember, we filmed back in April. I hadn't talked to him since, but he didn't tell me when the video is coming out. But when I did my channeling session on what was it, May 20th, the day that the video came out, and I had it written down, and he's in Australia. So I thought that was really funny. That was anyway. There is gonna be a lot of things come up for me too. I think that I mentioned, I'm okay saying it now with my channel, that I do see other timelines, and I think that I have actually mentioned this. I see other timelines, other realities with Ruby, with my dad. It's just very interesting. It's really, really interesting. And I think that, I get a lot of questions. I think that I think that when I get time, I will spend time with you on how you can do this too. Okay. Because remember, we're all made of energy. We all have intuition, right? So it's just a matter of really tapping into it. And I know that some people are, wired other ways, but it doesn't mean that you can't, right? So I'm here to help. I'm here to help. And I think that this really helps you trust in yourself and trust in the universe. And remember what I always say, when you trust your intuition, you have no doubt. You know that everything is happening for a reason, and you see it, right? You see it. Even the hard things, you see that it's happening for a reason, and there's something to learn from it. And then, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of inclement weather. And here's the thing. I know that we are approaching hurricane season. That's gonna, I don't know when that is. Was that fall? Fall? It's gonna be a bit stronger. Just to let you know, through the US. Um, can someone confirm this too? I wrote that there was gonna be a bridge accident. Do you see that? I think I was going through my news feed. There may have been, but yeah. And then California again. And then there are some things that here's the thing. Okay. I'm gonna do something where I get a lot of your comments, and I got a lot of your comments from last time. And I think that one thing that we may even see, and again, I just don't know how public facing this will be. There will be another crash with kind of like Roswell, like a UAP. But again, I don't know how public facing that will be. Yeah. And this was way back in, oh yeah, this was way back in April. You see that there's we're getting to it. And then I talked about lava, right? I told you about the lava. There's gonna be more underwater activity as well. But this is back in April, so I'm just bringing this back into your consciousness. And then the big quake. There's gonna be, it's gonna be significant. That'll be soon. And that's with like the tsunami and stuff. And I think that I told you that there's going to be also housing. Yeah. And I gave you dates. That's going to be August, something big around that time. Yeah. So I think that's it. That's, I mean, there's more, but okay. So what I was gonna say is I've been getting your comments and questions and whatnot. Or let's just stick to comments. Oh, New Zealand, we're not done. Okay, New Zealand, we're not done with New Zealand. And so where I'm talking about these geophysical events, and I kept seeing New Zealand. I remember, I think I mentioned this last time. There was that, I think it was a 7.0. Like it was near New Zealand. So thankfully it wasn't, right. It was there. It was right there. So just remember that, let's all vibrate at this high frequency. We can change timelines. These are on this timeline. Okay. Everything that I saw, those are the ones that I'm telling you because I'm pretty sure they're on this timeline. Remember, or I actually, I didn't say this, but I know I can tell when something's like at a 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or like a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Those I'll just, if they happen, I'll just show, yeah, it was in my book, or right. So even yeah, New Zealand. So there may be some impact there. Okay. And I think one of the if there's a big takeaway, again, it's just be mindful of what you're being told by certain world leaders. I think I told you this in the past too. There are some people in power that are like the wrong people. We all know. That's like a given. That's not even me. But that's what I'm saying is that let's I see things that happen behind the scenes. And so a lot of the people that, even the ones that you thought you could trust, just know that you've got to trust your intuition. Okay. You got to trust your intuition. And yes, blackouts. It's still, that's not done. That's not done. I'm not sure if, I think that's it for now. Oh, and the thing that I was going to say is that I think that because some of y'all have given me really great advice, a lot of the things that I keep vague, because remember, it's all, I don't want to fearmonger. I don't want people coming to my channel looking for, where's his prediction so I can doom scroll. I don't want that. I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to empower you, right? I'm not saying any of y'all are doing it, right? I'm just saying that's not what I want. That's not the energy I want to put out there. I just want you to expand your consciousness and let you know that some things are possible, but we can also shift timelines. Now, here's the thing. I've got a lot of suggestions, and I think that I might do this where I just take those predictions and the channeling and the messages I receive. Again, I know timing for these. Some of the things that I see, yes, I may keep it vague or I may not tell you now, but I will know when I can. And sometimes that could be like a month from now, and maybe 2 months from now, 3 months from now. So one thing that I may do is just take things to my website, because one, there are some things that, first of all, there's, YouTube itself, great platform. There are some things that you can't eat. There's certain things you can't say, like even like certain words you can't say, like, you'll get shadow banned and things like that. Or things can happen. Okay. The other thing is that I think that at the end of the day, a lot of it is just, I just want you to consider that some of it, yes, it is. I have to be very mindful of, my safety too. And so one of the reasons, and this is so bonkers, I don't remember if my last live stream that first of all, I have Mercury opposite Mars. I think I talked about this about a year ago when we had it. When you have Mercury opposite Mars, that's when and if you have it in your chart, you will identify with me. You'll relate that. And it doesn't matter what house. Okay. When you have that, because it's so rare, you need Mars retrograde for that to happen. And so I do have Mars retrograde in Cancer in my chart. But when you have that, it's like, you can It's like you have 10 thoughts at once, and it's hard to get one thought. It's like it's kind of insane. It's kind of bonkers. So I've always been like that. But when I do your forecast, I got my notes in front of me. I got a script. I know what to, Anyway, secondly, and so that's what happened in the last live stream. But the other thing is, I'm so excited to tell you things, but then I have I'm going to just say my intuition, my guides, my intuition. They're saying, no, 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 no. So I'm like fighting what I have to tell you. I'm stopping to hear, I'm stopping to think, and I'm just like, okay, wait, maybe I can't. And so I have to kind of pivot. So that's the thing. If I take everything to just on my own website or another thing, I think that'll be easier, because then I can just say, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. No filtering. I can talk. I can tell you everything. Okay. So I might have to, as I'm going to do that. But at the end of the day, just vibrate at a high frequency. You'll be fine. You're going to be good. Everything is energy, right? So that's what you're gonna really feel this year, because remember, and that's why we call it like the Great Reset and the Great Awakening. Right now, there's so much like division. There's so much, and a lot of people putting energy into fear and doubt and anxiety. And so, June is such a great month. You're going to be like, why was I? Nope, I got things to do. So that's why I love June so much. But remember what I just said about energy and biofields. We all have our own electromagnetic field. We're connected to each other. We're humanity. And so that's one of the reasons we are having this, because it's gotten to a point where it's like a rubber band. It's like there's this side going this way, this side going this way. It's gotta, when people stop seeing sides and start seeing everyone as human beings, that's what we need to get back to. And so it keeps going the other direction. And so just know this is all for the greater good. So I don't want you to fear anything. And I don't want you to have any, moments of your self-doubt. I want you to trust your intuition. That's what's going to get you through. And you're going to, again, it's going to be a piece of cake for you. Everything is going to be a piece of cake. I mentioned vaccines, right? Vaccines and even food processing. We talked about this. Okay. That's still coming up. And that was from last year, but it was just, it continues to come up. There's another thing that I didn't mention this. Did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah. The Pleiadians. I mentioned that. We'll talk about that because I'm looking at the time, but just know that we're spiritual beings, and there are other spiritual beings as well. And there's a connection, even just energetically. And when you're vibrating at that high frequency, you feel them, and it feels great. So let's all evolve together. I mean, it's this super conscious, universal love that we just want to get back to, right? And I think that, again, with Pluto, even like with astrology, remember, there's some things that are going to be breaking down for us to have that breakthrough. Yeah. I'm trying to just remember, and I'm just and things are coming up. I talked about this in my last live stream as well I think they're, I mentioned it already, the underwater activity. Yeah, okay. There are facilities down in the, okay? So that's what I'm saying, is like some of these things. And the other thing is, like, I think when I actually do the research on some of the things that I see, oh wow, a lot of them fall into like I guess like conspiracy groups and stuff like that. And I'm not part of any of that. But it's just really interesting on how much is actually like you're gonna see. Um, and I think that I did mention that there are even like little hints when you pick up on those little hints when you do have like in the US like top officials and world leaders saying, "Oh, we have tech that manipulates time and space. We've got tech weapons you've never seen. Nobody in the world has ever seen. We have tech that we can offer free energy." When you get so many leaders just saying that, you know what it is? It's like a little kid that has a secret, right? They know this. And when they're in front of a mic, oh, that what I talk about, that 90% subconscious, right? Some of it just it'll just come out. And I know I talked about the tech that, isn't public facing, and there's so much, but just know that you're going to see a lot of this anyway throughout the year. You're going to see a lot of it. It's 2025. It's the Great Awakening. It's all part of this spiritual evolution. But just if there's one big takeaway, just know deception is really strong right now. It's from the top. All right. So you've got to trust your intuition on what's best for you. And I can help you if you have any questions. I can help you, like any of that. Anybody have any questions? Speaking of which, y'all, oh my gosh, y'all are amazing. Marty, member for 18 months. Thank you so much. Y'all are amazing. Y'all, I'm so emotional. I was so emotional the past few days, and a lot of it is, having been with my family. Oh my gosh, I'm about to cry. We did have the moon in Cancer though, so a lot of y'all may have felt emotional. And when the moon is, the moon rules Cancer, so the moon's home there, and you feel it's I was really emotional the past few days, but good emotional, really good emotional, and it just feels good connecting and just having your moments, right? And a lot of it is just being in the water, being in the sea, being in the ocean, having your feet in the sand. Oh, it works wonders. And one thing that if you do that, if you ever go to a beach or anything like that, one thing that I would suggest, and I think this is always really cool, is I always have those moments where I blur out the hotels, the buildings, the people. I imagine myself there 300, 400, 500 years ago. Beautiful, right? How beautiful. That's truly connecting with source. Anyway, y'all, I see that's me being emotional. Oh my gosh, Sherry, thank you so much for the super sticker. Y'all are amazing. Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm like on the verge of like, oh. So I hope that was clear. I will likely take every, these, and I'm not going to change anything on YouTube at all. It's just a lot of the things that I do keep vague, and a lot of the things that I see that sometimes it's just like, I can't believe that this is actually happening. And I know that I have to tell. I think that's, if you saw that interview that I had with Amrit on Inspired Evolution, it's just that I, have had this for such a long time. And I had a big moment during COVID where I realized it was just like, what is the point of seeing all these things if I'm not going to help people with it? So I want to do that, but some of the more behind the scenes things, I can't do it. I got to take it off. But I will still do predictions here, the ones that I can tell you, okay, to help you prepare, to help expand your consciousness, things that you have to do just in case there is, let's say we had, the blackout in Europe, all those blackouts for hours. So just now, that's what I'm saying. It can happen. So now So now that what would you do to prepare? What would you need for that day? What would you need for 2 days? What would you need for 3 days? Right? So things like that. Okay. Y'all are amazing. Any questions? And remember, if you ask questions before, put them back in the thing so I can read them, because again, I don't have a moderator or anything. So if I scroll through, it just, everything just comes out interesting. It's weird. Anyway, Cindy, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Y'all are amazing. And I know that a lot of y'all have asked, and I'm gonna go. I have to go through your questions and comments too that y'all left. Cindy, I really appreciate you sending lots of love to you and Ruby. Thank you so much. She did a really long walk yesterday. It was so that, if anything brought me to tears, that was that. You know, she's got some injuries, chronic. So seeing her be able to walk for an hour is just like, wow. Can you say what my Jupiter at 0 degrees Cancer might mean coming up? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're good. That's all I got to say. Remember, everyone goes, so everyone will have this, right? And it's just a really great gift. Jupiter's going to bring you gifts all the time throughout them, every month, right? Always going to bring you great stuff. But down to your natal chart, when you have Jupiter conjunct your natal Jupiter, yeah, that really sets up this brand new cycle. But you see things unfold. And for me, again, it was more of, and Cindy, this is, and for anybody going through, you know, their Jupiter return, I got to be with, you know, reunite with lifelong friends. I got to see 2 of my closest friends get married. I got to reunite with, you know, one of my friends I know for 20 years. I had that moment with Jupiter throwing lightning at me when I was doing blessings. I got to be with my family. I had really important conversations with my family about some next steps. I had a contract that I'm signing. The, you know, episode with the interview with on Inspired Evolution came out. Do you see all these things? But that's what I'm saying. You're still going to get it throughout the year. Jupiter's always on your side and always going to, you know, bring you luck and good fortune and wisdom. And that's the biggest thing, is that wisdom. What have you, you know, what you've learned and what you're going to be gifted for that. And that's for anyone going through that Jupiter return. Same thing with you, Cindy. You're going to have big moments. But remember, you've got to please vibrate at that high frequency, right? It's that law of attraction. It's that law of attraction. Okay. And it's all about gratitude, love, compassion. It's all of that inner wisdom, spiritual knowledge, spirituality, higher mind. That's what Jupiter is. That's what Jupiter wants to see. And that's when you've got that, you're vibrating at Jupiter's frequency, right? So yeah, you're in for a treat. But it does kick off like a new cycle. And you know, you can, Cindy, what you can do and what everybody can do. Remember what I said for your June forecasts, right? You can think back to when Jupiter does move into Cancer. You can think back to June 2013, what happened for you around that time. But when you go through your exact Jupiter return, that's so you can, Cindy, you go a year back and see what happened around that time, to like around June 2013, right? So you can think about that entire week, that entire month. Things manifest a little bit later, sometimes a little bit earlier, right? But you'll see a big life change. Okay. Bonnie, you asked, what is the significance of pyramids? Big. Big. That's not even an earth thing. It's because you've got, you know, maybe I'll talk about sacred geometry at one point, but there's a lot. That's a whole other, Bonnie, we'll do that another time, but that's a whole other, you know, live stream. But yeah, they're sacred. Holly, you asked, it's great to see y'all. Do you have any insight about what having multiple retrogrades and a birth chart means? Lots of conflicting info out there. I have 4 and wondering the significance. Thanks for all you do. Well, thank you for your question, Holly. And yes, great question, because everyone here, everyone in this live stream will have retrogrades in your chart. It is very rare for you not to. And I know that when people first start learning their birth charts, they see that as like, oh man. But no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay. It makes you, and again, it depends on the planets. It depends on the how, everything, it just depends on a lot of factors. But in general, know that it is a good thing. Okay. You handle things a lot better. It's like, you withdraw a little bit because you have that broader, you want to see things. And that's what retrogrades are. You're going within. So when you got in your chart, it's a beautiful thing. It's actually a great thing. Okay. So not a bad thing at all, Holly. And again, everyone does. It is so rare to see a birth chart where nobody has but then those would be those people who they kind of just do without being in. So having retrogrades in your chart's a good thing. Okay. It's a good thing. You can handle retrogrades better too, by the way, when you do have retrogrades, when they actually happen. I hope that helps. Oh gosh, Michelka. I hope I'm saying your name right. Oh my gosh, my accent's coming out. You get your mother's connection. A picture of your family showed, and your father is a stable to help you all connect. Thank you. Oh gosh, I love them. Okay, California. You said yes, California. So again, just expect things along the coastline, and that's going to be just something that you've never seen. And again, on this timeline, but again, because I've seen it so many times, it comes up so many times, I'm pretty confident. And when I say, again, the California coast, it's just the entire West Coast. There's just vibrations that I pick up on, and yeah. Okay. And I'm not saying, and it just may be, and actually, I think there's news about, there is some volcano, some in the Pacific anyway, that's already emitting lava, that just happened. But remember, since I told y'all back in April. But anyway, that's happening. And so even if that were to erupt, where you got to think about the plates and there's just, so yeah, there is going to be a geophysical event around that Pacific area. So remember, California's on this side, you got Asia on this side, so they're both going to feel impact. How much? Who knows? Remember, I could after this do another channeling session, and it might be different. So let's all vibrate at that high frequency. Andy, planning on doing an ayahuasca ceremony. Is there an ideal planetary alignment? You're in Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Scorpio rising. Here's the thing. When it comes to that, it really is more of, again, when you trust your intuition, yes, but it depends on what you want from that ceremony. Okay? It depends on what you want from the ceremony. So as long as you know what you want, like your goals of doing it, then you can figure out, okay, I'm going to do this during a full moon, or I'm going to do this during a new moon, or I'm going to do this when Jupiter moves into Cancer, or I'm going to do this during, do you know what I mean? Like, so it really depends on what you're looking for. And then when you, again, just take a moment in nature. And this is for anybody with any big decisions. Have your moment in nature. Listen, maybe listen to some hemi-sync, some, binaural beats, and let things come out, or the nature itself. And things will come to you. Things will come to you. All right. AAG, too busy for me. You too busy for me? Come on. No, I'm joking. What's happening in Oakland? I'm actually not sure. I think I brought up, I don't know if it's Oakland actually, because remember, it was like Roseland Park. How funny is that? It came straight to the page. Roseland Park, Oakland, Oak. But it's in California. Oakland tree and then California. So I don't know if it's actually Oakland. That's why when I was doing, like, I don't know if this is Oakland or not, but yeah, there's yeah. And sometimes it's just like maybe like there may be news or headlines in those areas. I've come to understand that some of the places that I see, it is stuff that is happening behind the scenes, or it's uh like a code word for something, if that makes sense. Um Kind of like, you know how like there's the big three-letter agency that would have like Montauk Project or whatever it was, right? That so I've that's been coming up, but yeah, okay. But again, we'll talk about more of my other thing. But so yeah, so that's to answer. I hope that answered your question. Um, Michelle, you said when you mentioned about going to Sedona, there's a vortex there, very high energy, and a portal access information for grid working. Yes, yes. There's a reason why people gravitate to Sedona, even Casadega, Florida, right? There are strong energy points throughout the so I love that use of that. Even in North Carolina. Yeah. Outside of Asheville, there's mountains. Oh, there's something compelling there. There is something compelling there. You can feel it. You can feel it. So I love that, I loved Sedona is amazing. Sedona is amazing. I did a big story there when I was a journalist. I had to do a lot of research on, you know, the people that lived there, in the past. And it's just such a beautiful place. I hope everyone can visit at some time too, because you do feel that energy. And the same thing if you can't go over there and you go over to Asheville, like outside of Asheville, you'll feel it. There's that energy and just outside of Asheville, but you feel it inside the city too. Really great energy. Okay. Roberta, good question. How do we change the timeline? That's an amazing question. Okay. So, it is frequency. Okay. And that's when we come back as a collective. Oh, it works wonders. It works wonders. And if you trace history back, um, and it's such, and it's like we shouldn't be at this place, but that's where we are right now, which is why we're due for a big reset and an awakening. But if you trace things back to even just the past 20 years, okay, 25 years, when there are big tragedies, global or even some big things that happen, that's when humanity, right? They get together. They want to help. They awaken a little bit. And so that's so there's in terms of your question, as long as we're awake, we're at that high frequency, we can shift things, okay? Even in astrology, I say that all the time with these aspects that happen, especially with, squares, oppositions, the challenging aspects, which are actually good for you, right? Because you learn and you become feel more empowered after. It's how you use them, because there's higher expressions you can use. And it's the same thing with changing the timeline. We've all got to put that energy out there. All right. As a collective. Um, so I hope that we're all getting there. And June, that's why I'm so excited about June, is because the potential is humongous. It's so big. Everyone's going to be feeling great. All right. So I got it. What time? I'm gonna answer a few more questions. Sherry, you said I would love a reading. I know you're busy at present. Do you recommend someone? Yeah. Well, it depends on what kind of reading you want. If it's like a birth chart reading, or yeah. Mike, I love, there's so many, and that's a great question for a lot of people. If you're looking for a reading, you'll notice a lot of, astrologers and even readers are no longer doing them because there's this shift, a big shift to focusing more on the collective rather than the individuals, right? It's more about the collective. So they're doing more for not just one person. So if you spend that, 1 hour doing a reading for one person, whereas you could do like 1 hour doing a live stream or, a video for everyone, you have more of that impact. So, and it's just, I don't think it's like permanent or anything, but there has been a shift like that. So you're seeing less people do read it. Me, I'm just busy, that. So I can't, and because I would love to, give you readings, but yeah, I would say, I love SJ. I'll always love SJ Anderson. We did a live stream together. He's opened his readings again. I would recommend him if for a birthright reading. Marty, you said I'm opening my home at James' house, my LGBTQIA youth who have been homeless. Can you see this going smoothly? Well, hey, congratulations. That's amazing. That's so good. And that's part of this. Like, again, Jupiter in Cancer is just so nurturing too. So you're just going to feel that amplified in everything that you do for everybody. Everybody, by the way, that's happening in just a few days from now. But even still, you're just feeling this shift. But if I can see it going smoothly, listen, that's remember where you're at now. You opening this, that's you being that leader, right? That's you transforming lives, right? With Pluto and Aquarius, that's you transforming in this process. This is all this is amazing. And so remember, Jupiter and this is all about your self-belief. It's all about your self-belief. As long as you believe it will. That's what energy is. That's what frequency is. And so that's as long as you have that belief, and I believe that you do. Okay. So, yeah, but you've got to believe in yourself because remember, it's that intuition. And there's so many other ways to explain it that I'll do another live stream explaining that because I know intuition is just, it's a lot deeper, but you really do feel it when you connect on this other level. And the more that you work with your intuition, the more it's just like, it is so magical, transcendent. Okay. I hope that helps. And congratulations, Chris. You said I came in late, but did you mention the financial system in June? We are in for a big change. Yeah. I don't think I did in this live stream, but I did in the last one and the one before and the one before, and even I think the very first predictions video I did, that was the first thing that I mentioned was when we get to this point. So there are going to be, remember, there's a lot of different structures that are transforming. Remember, there's going to be some breakdowns for breakthroughs. And yes, you're going to see some changes. Okay. This month, more in July. But that's what I'm saying. There's gonna be some things breaking down for that breakthrough. And it's all for the greater good. It's all for the greater good. So don't fear it. Just trust your intuition and you'll know what to do. And I'll talk more about that too in another live stream. All right. And maybe I will do, actually, I might do the Saturn. Well, I don't know. I'll let you know. I was going to do, because I'm going to do your forecast for all 12 signs and then, with the tarot as well. But the intro, like the first 15 minutes talking about Saturn and Neptune and Aries, that's going to be sexiling Uranus and trining Pluto for 2 years. Like, what is going on? Like, that's crazy. I was thinking of doing it live and then just adding the videos after, but I still got to figure things out. I got to work on your videos for the other, okay, your weekly, but y'all, all right. Is there okay, y'all? I gotta go. I gotta go. Y'all are amazing. I see that a lot of y'all are talking about the 2013. Um, I love it. Just yeah, think about that time. Whew, June 2013, 2014. And that's the other thing. If that's like when you go back to that time period, sure, maybe there was something that you at that time in the moment, it wasn't, or looking back, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this happened, this happened. It wasn't the best. Actually was. You had to learn. There was something you had to learn, right? Everything is cyclical. It brought you to this point 12 years later. How are you going to use those life experiences moving forward, right? So again, that's that frequency I'm talking about. If you're thinking of only the bad, if you're filtering like, okay, where are the bad things that happen? You've got to vibrate at that higher frequency so you can see, okay, what happened that time? Because same thing for me. Sure, I had great things happen 2013, 2014, but I also had things that happened that I was like, okay, but I learned from them. And now, and you use that as fuel to empower you moving forward. Remember, everything is cyclical, everything is karmic cycles. You've got to learn these lessons to continue to move forward into these new cycles, or you'll be trapped in that cycle like that, like a hamster wheel, right? Without, as long as you learn, then you can move on. And so maybe if I have time, I'll do another live stream on, because you got to think about, okay, it's cyclical. So you can think 12 years before that as well. So just keep going every time. And then when Jupiter moves into Leo next year, right? That's going to be, there's so much happening. I can't even like Jupiter is going to move into Leo in 2026. Yeah. June 2026. So then you got to think 2014, 2015. And that area of your chart that, depending on what sign you are. So that's what I'm saying. Everything is cyclical. There's something you have to learn that year. And then next year, there's going to be something different you have to learn. Right. But because it's Saturn's moving too. All the planets are moving. So either way, it's all just cycles. And Jupiter has that element of karma as well. Okay, y'all, it's been such a pleasure. Y'all are amazing. I'm gonna y'all. I hope you're having a great weekend. Tracy, I see what you said about Mount Shasta. I lived in LA for 3 years. I can't believe I never made it up there. That was my number one goal. I never made it up there. I wish I'd made it up there. Oh, Jamie, you're moving to Sedona. That's exciting. You're gonna in September. Of course, you're moving in September. You are probably well, anyway, there's that we have eclipses in September. We have the new moon, solar eclipse in Virgo, right? And then the lunar eclipse in Pisces in September. Remember, we got the nodes. So everyone's gonna have big shifts in September. Just wait until I do your September forecast. Just wait until I do your September. It's gonna be, and don't forget, Mars in July will be on the South Node. Speaking of which, what is it? June 1st? Yeah, tomorrow you got the moon in Virgo. So you're going to have the moon conjuncting the South Node. So you see, even the moon cycle, cyclical. So there's got to be something that the South Node is like, lessons you've learned and things that you're leaving in the past. And even people from your past maybe coming back, but there's a lot there. That's me tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. It's like every day I could do an hour, like for every day. June is so loaded for every day of June. But anyway, y'all, and your moon in Virgo tomorrow, great. Okay, it's going to be great. It's going to be like I got to do that, check it off my to-do list. It's a lot of, there's a lot happening. All right, y'all, I got to go. I got to take Ruby out. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all have an amazing weekend. I will make an announcement on this. I got to just put things in motion now that I'm back, but on this other, and it's again not going to impact like any of the members, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. What I bring these bigger prediction videos on my own channel, on my own website, but it's just I gotta work that out in my. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow with a moon in Virgo. analyze and process a lot. And I'm a Virgo moon. So I'm probably already going to do it. Anyway, y'all, I got to go. Have an amazing weekend. Happy June. Happy everything. And then I'll see you very soon. All right. Thank you so much, y'all. Y'all are amazing. You know I love y'all. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you very, very, very soon. All right. Bye-bye.